Back to the signing board. I thought you got tired of it.
No, we had an appointment. I'll just put in politics. Hey, you stick a sign out for your house? Because you're the only place I know is where I want to choose. Oh, yeah. Hey, Mike, I didn't see you there.
Hey, Tom. Tom. Glenn, I know you.
Hey, Bill. Hey.
Well, Tom just walked in, so I thought Tom.
So, you know where oh, there it is.
Oh, I see the name.
Sorry, sir. Still picking.
Hey, Michael. Harry. Careful, I'm recording.
If I anybody, I don't know.
Well, at least you still talk to me.
I'll talk to you.
Better those that won't. There's one of them here, but that's all right. I can live with it.
Barbershops open on the main street. How are you?
My fellow chess player. Yeah. Oh, that's right. No. You're clean, buddy. You're clean. And then we have some chess
Commissioner Lambert, before you attempt to call a meeting into order, just like you to know that Vice Chair Strang has not been invited to this little assembly. Vice Chair Strang has not resigned. At a questionable meeting and all acts thereafter from the alleged delegation meeting of August 1st, all actions will be challenged, and anything you do today and in the future is going to be before the court. So with that, you can pretend to do a meeting.
This notice was posted at the Gunstock Administrator's Office, the Belknap County Commissioner's Office, and online at gunstock.com. And I would like to invite Commissioner Denise Conroy to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice pipe soldier.
Thank God.
So first of all, I would like to introduce our new commissioner. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss several ongoing matters as a commission that need to be addressed. The first item on the agenda is a discussion of a letter that the commission has received from the independent audit firm. And to start, I would like to first pass out a copy of the letter to each of the commissioners. Is this on here? I'll give them a minute to review the letter. So at this time, I would like to motion to release the letter from Vashon Coupe dated August 11th and read it into the record. Do I get a second? Motion is made and seconded. What I would like to do is note for the record that there have been several discussions between myself and the principal of the audit firm and the lead auditor, and they have provided us with this letter that I'm going to share with the public right now. So it was dated August 11th, and it was addressed to the Gunstock Area Commission. And it's from Vashon Coupe and Company, the independent auditor. Dear members of the board, we have been contracted by the Gunstock Area Commission to complete an independent audit of the financial statements for the year ended April 28, 2022, and have communicated such information in our letter to you dated May 4, 2022. Our audit fieldwork commenced on June 20th, 2022. However, due to unanticipated events and circumstances beyond our control, audit fieldwork has been disrupted or delayed on multiple occasions. In addition, as part of our audit, we have been requested to review additional information which was outside of the planned scope of procedures and/or year of audit. It has required additional time and resources to address such information. I'm going to stop there because I neglected to take a vote on the motion. The motion to release the letter. So at this time, the chair would like to ask for a vote to release the letter to the public. Commissioner Wood.
Yes.
Commissioner Conroy.
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Lambert votes yes. So the motion passes and I'll continue to read the letter. As management has just recently been reinstated back into their positions, we have reestablished contact with the finance department and provided a listing of open audit fieldwork items which still need to be addressed. We are working towards completion of the audit in as timely a manner that our current schedule permits, as well as addressing the previously referenced additional information requested that is deemed necessary by the Commission. Unless we encounter circumstances beyond our control, we estimate drafts of the audited financial statements to be available by September 30, 2022. Very truly yours, Vashon Coupe and Company, PC. And I will enter this into the record. Is there any discussion before we move to the next agenda item on the power of the Commission? Any comments you'd like to make for the public? So I will just add that the audit firm was in receipt of items, a list of items from the so-called audit committee, and they have delivered those items to the commission, and that the commission will be addressing each and every one of these items that have been listed. These items fall outside of what a traditional independent audit would comprise of in this situation, a municipal audit. The principal of the audit firm has indicated that this has also most likely going to impact the cost of the audit, which in the spirit of openness and transparency, the commission will address and look into each and every one of these items on the list. And I can tell you it was a very substantial list. It mostly involved checks that have been written, and some actually beyond the typical year that the audit firm would be looking into. I believe it was characterized as unprecedented. Okay, with that, I would like to move under this discussion on the audit firm, on the same topic, I would like to move to declare the audit subcommittee officially disbanded and to designate the chair to engage with any future necessary communications with the independent audit firm and share with the other members of the full commission. Motion has been seconded. Discussion.
So, as someone who was new to the committee, I was really surprised to see that we had several different committees. We have an audit committee, or a couple others as well. It's pretty unusual for a commission of this size. Obviously, when we're at full strength, we've got 5 members. That is a pretty small, quote-unquote, board of directors commission, however you want to look at it. So, and given the size of this business of Gunstock, highly irregular to have so many committees. So from my perspective, I support this. I support it because, again, having all these committees, number one, adds a lot of administration and bureaucracy that, frankly, we have no indication that we need. If we had seen any evidence of malfeasance, which our auditors would certainly step up, and that is what they do for us every year, we would certainly want to dig into that, and perhaps you might have a special committee on a one-off basis. But I think that given the fact that we have no indication of that, right? We've seen nothing untoward. We've seen nothing that looks out of order. So I think that it makes a lot of sense, again, to get this commission. I want to keep this as streamlined as possible. Remember, we're in the business to keep Gunstock in business. That's what we're here for. So I want to make sure that we keep administration, bureaucracy that's unnecessary, right, to a minimum. So I support this wholeheartedly.
Thank you. So I would further add, I would like to speak to the bylaws of the commission, and specifically Article 2, Paragraph 3, small section E. And it says that the authority of committees shall have no decision-making authority. The findings, actions, and recommendations of the committee shall not circumvent or replace the authority, direction, and actions of the commission. And I would like to have people recall that at our last regular meeting that took place, there was discussion as to the fact that this audit committee had instructed the audit to take a pause had given specific instructions to the CFO of Gunstock. And as you can see by this section that I just read, that committee had no authority to do such a thing. And the act of that threw the independent audit firm into a bit of confusion, and it also pulled them away from their direction as provided with the engagement letter. Furthermore, as far as the bylaws go, it also directs that all subcommittees are to retain minutes of meetings, which I would also construe that as meaning subject to the right to know law, which call for all subcommittees, etc. Those were not provided. There were no notices provided. And what that led to was it led to the commission as it was constituted at that time as a whole to be left in the dark as to the activities of this audit that we as a commission engaged and authorized. So the act of this motion is to bring that work back into the entire commission so that we as a complete body can make the decisions necessary to move forward, uphold our oaths, and provide the proper guidance in public dissemination of information as we are required. So therefore, I'm in favor of this motion. Further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Conroy?
Yes.
Lambert votes yes. Motion passes 3-0. Next on the agenda is discussion with correspondence between the attorney from the Freddie Flaherty law firm in regards to the ongoing legal investigation. So I have sections of emails and portion of a conversation which I engaged with the lead attorney, Peter Callahan. So I'm just going to present for the record and for the information of my fellow commissioners. On August 2nd, 2022, Attorney Callahan responded to myself in response to an earlier email that day. This happened at 3:58 p.m. And he says in his email, quote, "We are just about at the end of the phase of the work that the Gunstock Area Commission authorized a month or so ago, and we were targeting an early August completion date. I am on course to complete that work this month. My expectation is that, consistent with how we have been doing things, the Gunstock Area Commission will then have to decide whether it wants to move forward with any part of our recommendations." On August 3rd, I had a phone discussion with attorney Peter Callahan in follow-up to the email. And I quote, and this is me speaking to him, "I think the best course of action, especially with what I've learned here in our conversation, would be to not change the course of action for you to continue on task that we hired you to do and finish this thing." On August 11th, in an email to Attorney Callahan from myself, I quote, "Good morning. I am just checking in to see how you are doing as far as completing your report and when we might be receiving it. For some reason, the date of an August 10 release seems to have been widely circulated through the local chattering classes and social media circuit. The Commission will need time to review and decide the proper method of dissemination to the public." So in response to that, in part, Attorney Callahan writes, I have a working draft and should be able to finish soon, hopefully next week, but certainly this month. I thought the August 10 date was pushed off with recent events that delayed us for a bit. So that will conclude my recounting of the present situation with the law firm in regards to the legal investigation that is now into its third part. So with that, I am also going to distribute for my fellow commissioners a copy of the invoice that was presented to both Commissioners Wood and myself at earlier commission meetings, and I can reveal that at least one of those meetings, which was public, we both voted to vote no to paying the invoice. So I will give them a chance to review it, and then I will have a motion ready to make. I would move that the Gunstock Area Commission reveal the legal invoice to the public and move to accept and pay the invoice. Do I hear a second? Motion is made and seconded. Discussion.
Since I was appointed last year, time and time again, this commission has resorted to legal action and investigations, and I am on the record multiple times since I took my oath denouncing these actions and also imploring our various chairmen throughout my tenure to work with the chair of the delegation to resolve these issues. And I am eagerly awaiting closure of this chapter so that we can move forward and start the healing process as a community. And I look at these legal invoices and they make me sick.
I'd like to echo the sentiments of Commissioner Wood. I also look at this, and as a former CEO, I see a lot of somebody loading up their plate while somebody else is paying for the buffet. And that's all well and fine. I think we're at an impasse here where we need to you know, as Commissioner Wood said, get through this and move on. But I would just say that we're in a new era here, which is to say that the witch hunts that cost Gunstock, that cost the taxpayers, those are done, okay? And at least from my perspective, my commission is, holds up until November of 2023. This is not the sort of business this commission is going to engage in, okay? We're going to engage in actual work to fulfill this community, to fulfill this local economy, and to enrich this business and this group of folks who I look at out in the audience. So I just, you know, this is a stunning amount of legal work, stunning, and the rates associated with it stunning as well. And again, it's one of those things that I would categorize as adulting. Sometimes you just have to suck it up and get through, but we're done with this. So Thank you.
So for the sake of the discussion, I would just remind the commissioners it's a two-part motion to reveal and to pay. So I would just add that when I was presented with this invoice, along with Commissioner Wood, as I alluded to earlier, we voted not to pay it at the time. It's a rather staggering amount of money, to the point where I initiated contact with the attorney that's working on this case to find out where he was at in the case, because when I saw this amount, what in my mind I imagined was perhaps another following amount to complete the case in the amount that we may or may not reveal here today. And thankfully, he informed me that he is close to the end, and that he gave me an estimate of what the final bill might look like, which was certainly considerably less than this. We also discussed what he may or may not reveal in the findings, which I did not talk about here today. Other than I will say that I'm very interested to receive the final dispensation on this matter and the final report, because in my view, and I would remind that part of the motion that initiated this final phase called for a review of the Commission's exposure and recommendations to avoid such situations again in the future, which I think is going to be extremely helpful to this commission, so that we don't end up here, or some future commission end up here in this same place at some future point. So to that end, sadly, I have to vote in favor of accepting and paying this invoice so that we can get the final report that we've ultimately, we're going to have to pay it anyway at some point. So I will be voting yes to reveal the amount and yes to pay it.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood votes yes. Commissioner Conroy?
Yes.
Commissioner Conroy votes yes. Commissioner Lambert votes yes. So the motion passes. So the invoice will be made available for the record. And I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's pretty interesting how lawyers go about billing for things, but you can certainly see it for yourself. But the dollar amount for the current invoice, which was dated July 19th, is $44,512.75. And that goes on top of a previous one of $17,000 and change that we approved at a prior meeting, and then another one for a couple of $1,000. So you can do the math, you can look at what the delegation spent, what the commission spent of last year, and what this commission has spent thus far. And to echo Commissioners Wood and Conroy, it's a staggering amount, and it's a very sad piece of fact to consider when you think of what that money could have done out there on that mountain.
Reprehensible.
Exactly. So I will enter this into the record, and then we will move to the next agenda item.
Croc TV.